Completely free. We just need to know how many people are coming out. That way we have enough supplies for everybody. And then we are asking you each to bring a finger food to share. So bring food, come out, food, fellowship, and crafts. Like, what's better than that? And it's fall crafts, which is amazing. And we cannot forget our gentlemen. There is a men's breakfast. Where are my men at? All right, October 23rd here at the church, 9 a.m. It is a men's breakfast, so put that on your calendar as well. Y'all get to eat, fellowship, and get connected with other Christian men in our church. And we also have a fall festival coming up October 31st. It is 4:30 to 6. Put that on your calendar. It's here at the church in the parking lot. We're going to have games. It's trunk or treats. There's going to be bouncy houses, but we are in need of candy. So if you see a little picture up there, it's up there. If you see the picture, there's a bucket in the hallway by Children's Church. We are asking that you donate a bag of candy. That candy will be used that night, so bring it by, drop it off. If you want to volunteer, help out, do a trunk or treat, please see Miss Kara, and she will get you signed up for that. And I think that is everything, so use the next 5 minutes to introduce yourself to somebody new, high-five 5 people, and tell them that they're beautiful.
And I always reply back with, I have 3 kids. Do you know what that means on vacation? There's no resting. It is only running 24/7. And listen, we had a great time, and feel like we just closer to the Lord because of it. Got to just kind of get away and clear our heads. But we kind of came back, and we're feeling it, man. I'm ready to see God do something at this house. But what I know is there are some that maybe you showed up today, and you're just not feeling it. Come on. You're here today, and whatever circumstance the devil or the Lord has you in, you're struggling, and you're just not feeling it. But you showed up today anyhow. And you know what I want to say as your pastor? You made it, baby. You're here. This is the place to be. God has something for everyone in the room today. My question is, how will you posture yourself to receive it? I really believe this. I believe posture determines destination. How we posture ourselves, how we set ourselves in our own life, really determines which way we're going. Some people posture themselves with a closed hand. What they have is theirs, and they're going to hold on to it, and they're never going to let go. The problem with a closed hand is God can never open your hand to help you and give you so that you can receive something else. How you posture yourselves determine your destination. When it comes to worship, there are all kinds of different worship styles, right? There are people who, when they worship, man, they're the crazy worshiper. Like, they don't just raise their hands, they do this. They just hit everybody, right? We love those people, right? Amen? We love those people. But here's what I want. I feel like the Spirit of the Lord is saying this morning to posture yourself with lifted hands. Here's why: because there is an open door in heaven today. Let me tell you something. There's an open door in heaven today because Jesus gave his life so that you and I could receive from heaven what God wants to do here on earth. And so, here's the thing. Sometimes we show up at church, and whatever circumstance we have, maybe it's a financial issue, maybe it's a sickness, maybe it's a COVID sickness, maybe it's cancer, maybe it's fear, maybe it's an overwhelming anxiety because of a new job or stage of life, and it just kind of weighs you down, and you show up to church because you know that's where you need to be, but then yet you don't receive, or you don't feel like you're receiving what you should be receiving. Could it be because of how you've postured yourself? Here's one thing I know about posturing. You know, it can be trained, and it really is learned. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were always telling me, straighten your shoulders up. Don't walk around like that. Walk around straight. You know, don't walk around with a hump back. Straighten your back. Walk straight. And I had to train myself. You know what? It's the same thing in the Spirit. Sometimes you have to show up even if you don't feel like arching your back and standing up strong. Sometimes you got to show up in the Spirit and straighten your spiritual man up. Come on. Sometimes you got to even if I don't feel it, Lord, I'm going to straighten myself and I'm going to posture myself to receive from you this morning. Would you stand to your feet all over this room? Come on. Let's all together now. There's an open door today in heaven. There's an open door today in heaven. Will you receive? Come on. Come on, worship team. Lead us. Lord, let your presence just dwell with us today. Let's be in your presence today, God. Pour out your Spirit. Come on. Come on, church. We need your presence, God. We need your presence. We need your presence today, God. Revelation 3. They're going to put it on the screen behind you here. And a little feedback. It says this, and to the angel in Philadelphia, write the words of the Holy One. This is Jesus, and he's talking to the church, and he's sending a message to, it calls it an angel there, but it's the pastor of the church or a messenger in the church. Said the words of the Holy One, the true one, who has the key of David, who opens, listen to this, who opens and no one will shut, who shuts and no one will open. Here's what you need to know. There is a door standing in heaven. And at one time, that door was closed. You and I had no access to it because we didn't have the key. We could not get through. And so no matter what we did, we were denied access. This morning, there is a door in heaven open. Now, if it was closed, why is it now opened? Because when Jesus came to earth, he came, listen, not as a rebel to overtake an authoritarian Roman government. Because listen, God doesn't need government. God's bigger than government. It's not a democracy with God. It's a theocracy with God. In other words, he gets the last word. I don't know what your situation looks like. What I know is somebody has probably spoken some last words over your life. And I just feel that no matter what they said, they probably said you'll never amount to anything. They may have said you'll never be able to because of this. You'll never be able to have a baby because of this circumstance and your sickness. You'll never be able to have this job because you don't have this degree. You'll never be able to successfully beat that addiction because it started in your grandparents and it's just been with the family and they've spoken some last words over you, but there is a door in heaven, and now because Jesus gave it all for you and I, Jesus gets the final word. It says here, he has the key of David. What's that mean? It means he's got the access, baby. And he opened the door. Here's what I believe. There is always a door standing open in heaven. Why? One day, the disciples were talking with Jesus, and they said, Lord, teach us how to pray. And he said this is how you should pray. Thy Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy kingdom come. You know what? With the nation of Israel, when they first began, they started asking, they looked around at all the other nations, and they saw that every other nation had a king. They all have kings. We want a king, God. And God said, I want to be your king. They said, no, but we want a king. And so they asked God for a king. And so God said, okay, I'll give you a king. And he gave him King Saul, and he didn't really have it all together, and he sinned, and he failed God. And God anointed a new king, which is King David. By the way, that's the David we're talking about behind me here. He had the key. He was anointed to be king from God. He was God's authority on earth. But you see, here's the thing. God never wanted a kingdom. He didn't want a monarchy. God wanted to be our king. And today, what I know is there are some of us here, you've chosen something to rule over you. And it rules your life. I don't know what the name of your king is, but if it's not Jesus, listen to me, if your king isn't Jesus, if it's anything else, if it's work, if it's family, if it's kids, if it's money, whatever the name of your king is, and it tells you how far you can go and what you can do, understand this. God's goal was never for us to be ruled by anything or anyone other than Him. The intention God had, He wanted to bring what was happening in heaven down here on earth. The presence of God in heaven down here on earth. And He set a door open in heaven. And every Sunday we get together. And you know what we're asking the Lord for? Father, thy kingdom come. Lord, on earth as it is in heaven. Come on. I'm just crazy enough to believe that in the presence of Jesus, nobody's situation can remain the same. I just believe it. How come? Because what's going on in heaven, in the presence of Jesus, can happen here. What are you talking about, Pastor Zach? I'm talking about, Lord, there ain't no sick or dying children in heaven. Then bring and create it here, God, that there are no sick and dying children here on earth. Come on. In heaven, there's no loss of jobs or lack of finances. Then God, bring that here to earth. God, listen. No. God, in heaven, there's no sick people dying of COVID. Come on, bring what's in heaven to here on earth. So I don't know what it is that's held you back or what it is that's got you from walking through the open door. But this morning, I just feel there's an open door standing in heaven. There is always an open door. Listen, there's an open door when you get home after church. You understand me? On Monday morning, on your way to work, to a job that you can't stand, for a boss that drives you crazy, can I tell you, there's an open door, baby. You have access to what's in heaven, and it can ride with you all the way to the church, all the way to work, and all the way to the job site, and all the way till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever you get off. And then when you don't feel like you can go anymore, there's an open door. So when you get home to your family, come on, I'm talking to some daddies in here who will work themselves to the bone. When you get home to that family and you got those kids who need you and you got a wife who needs you, but you've overextended yourself, there is an open door in heaven who will strengthen you and give you what you need. I don't know if you're in the room today and you've been looking for what God has. I need you to know something. There's an open door. Here's the problem. Next verse. Here's the problem. I know your works. This is Jesus talking to the church. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. I know that you have a little power, but yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. Next verse. Verse 9 says this. Behold, everybody say behold. I will make those of the synagogue of Satan. Listen to what this says. I love this. I love this. Behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say that they are Jews and are not,